Can you people see the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now see, we we did talk about the parts of the neuron, right? Cell body, dendrites,
Yes,
axon.
ma'am.
Do you people have any doubts in this particular thing?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Now moving forward, let us talk about the axon. Now see, axon can be of two types depending upon the presence or the absence of myelin sheath. So if a myelin sheath is present on an axon, then that type of axon is known as myelinated axon. Whereas if the myelin sheath is absent, so then that type of axon will be called as the non-myelinated axon. So this is how we actually can say that the axon is of two types, myelinated and non-myelinated. Got it? Now we saw that this particular part is the axon ending, isn't it? It is the end part. Now, after this ending comes a space that is known as a synapse. You can call it as a space, or you can also call it as a gap. Now see, synapse, it is the space between the two neurons, meaning one neuron that is ending and one neuron that is starting. Now talking about it, so we can say that a synapse is present between the nerve endings of one neuron and the dendrites of another. Dendrites means the starting point, right? Meaning the cell body part, and the space, like particularly synapse, is the space which comes in between when one neuron ends and the other neuron starts. And this particular place is where the neurotransmitter is released by one neuron and then received by the other neuron. So the release of the neurotransmitter and then the receiving of the neurotransmitter is done in this particular synapse area only. Okay, this much is clear.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Now moving forward.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Now see, the axons, they have swollen endings. Now see, when we end the structure of the axons, these nerve endings, they are sort of swollen at the end. Why? It's because they contain a chemical that is known as acetylcholine. Now see, the neurotransmitter that we were talking about is nothing but the acetylcholine. The name of the neurotransmitter is acetylcholine. Like, okay, it is like a very famous kind of neurotransmitter. And where is it present? So it is present in the axon endings, which are swollen. And they are swollen because they contain this particular neurotransmitter. Got it?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Now, talking about the types of neurons. Now, see, we saw what a neuron is. We saw what are the parts of neurons. Now, let us see what are the different types of neurons. So, there are three different types of neurons. The first one is a sensory neuron. The second one is a motor neuron. And the third one is an association neurons. So, three types of neurons is there. Talking about the first one, that is the sensory neuron. So they are responsible for carrying the impulse or the information from the receptor to the CNS. CNS is the central nervous system. So as like how when we touch something, we feel that we are touching an object or we are touching somebody's hand. So we feel that. How do we feel that? Because our receptors are there and they send the impulse, the information to the CNS. Okay. Now then comes the motor neuron. Now they would carry the impulses or the information from the CNS to the effector. Effector, you remember?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. And thirdly comes the third type of neuron is association neuron. Now see, these are the neurons that would connect the sensory neuron with the motor neuron, sort of like the interrelay neuron. Okay, it is connecting both the two types of neurons, which is sensory and motor neuron. Got it? Is
Yes, ma'am.
everything clear? All right. Now moving forward, let us see what are some examples of receptors. Now see, these two are the most famous ones if we talk about it. So first one is olfactory receptor. Now see, olfactory receptors are present inside our nose. Okay, and what is it present for? So it is actually present for the sense of smell. So when we smell something fragrant, when we smell something bad, this is because of the olfactory receptor which is present in the nose, and that is responsible for all sorts of sense of smell. So olfactory. Now talking about the second type of receptor, it is gustatory receptor. This is present on the tongue and it is responsible for the sense of taste. So whether you taste something sweet, whether you taste something salty or sour, it is because of the gustatory receptors that are present on your tongue. So these are the two very famous and special type of receptors that are present in the nose and the tongue. Got it? Any doubts up till now?
No, ma'am.
Oh. Now, moving forward, let us talk about the human brain. So we already know that the CNS, which is the central nervous system, it has two components. The first one is the brain and the second one is the spinal cord. First, let's talk about the brain. Now, brain is a very soft, delicate organ and it is present or protected. It has to be protected because it is so soft and delicate. So it is protected inside the cranium of the skull. Okay, and you can call cranium as the brain box. Okay, so our brain is present inside our skull. And why so? Because it has to be protected. But why? Because it is very delicate and it is very soft. So something has to be there to protect it. Now, we all know that all sorts of activities that occur in our body, it is because of the brain only, because brain is the main coordinating center of the body. Anything, literally anything that happens inside our body, it is because of the brain only. Brain is the one that is functioning. The whole entire things that we do, it is because of our brain. The body breathes and everything, all of the things are coordinated because of the brain. Okay, it is sort of like the control center of our body. Now talking about, see, the brain and the spinal cord, both of them are protected by three membranous layers that is known as meninges. The brain and the spinal cord are protected by a three membranous layer called as the meninges. So the layer which the protective layer of the brain and the spinal cord is known as meninges. Okay. Now let us see what are the three membranous layers. So this meninges, it is made up of, the first one is dura mater. Then the second layer is the arachnoid. And the last one is pia mater. These are the three membranous layers that is making the meninges. Okay, is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now there are spaces like between the membranes. Okay, this like the spaces in between the membranes, they are filled with a fluid that is known as cerebrospinal fluid. What is the function of this? So the cerebrospinal fluid, it is responsible for protecting the brain and spinal cord from the shock or the injury. Okay, so we can say that the space between the membranes is filled by a fluid And the name of the fluid, by a fluid called as
Cerebrospinal.
cerebrospinal fluid. It is known as cerebrospinal fluid. Okay. Now, what is the function? What is the function of this fluid? This fluid performs the function to protect the brain and spinal cord from shock and injury. Cerebrospinal fluid is also known as CSF in short. So, you write the full thing only. The CSF is responsible for the protection of the brain and the spinal cord from the shock or injury. This much is clear? Why CSF is there? Why, like, where is it there? What is the purpose? All of these things are clear to you?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Now, talking about the brain. So let us see what are the parts of the brain. So our brain has three major parts. You can call them as like the three parts. The first one is the forebrain, then there is the midbrain, and then there is the hindbrain. So talking about the parts of the brain. So we can say that the brain has three major parts, namely, what are those parts? The first one is the forebrain, then there is the midbrain, and lastly, we have the hind. Okay, this though you already know, isn't it? Forebrain, midbrain, and the hindbrain. Now, let us talk about the forebrain first. Forebrain. Now, whatever thinking purpose of our brain is, okay, the thinking portion, the main, you can say the thinking part of the brain is the forebrain. Okay, it is very important. All the thinking that we do is because of the forebrain. So we can say that forebrain, it is the main thinking part of the brain. The main thinking part of the brain is the forebrain. Okay, now see, this forebrain, it has many regions present inside it so that like it can receive the sensory impulses from all the receptors that are present in the body. So like skin is there, nose is there, tongue is there. So all of these are receptors, right? The sense organs are there, and there are so many other receptors in our body. And whenever these receptors, they receive the impulses, okay, the sensory impulses, then all of these are concentrated in the forebrain area so that it can be, you can say it can be received. All the impulses can be received. So see, inside the brain, more particularly the forebrain, the whole hearing, the smell, the sight, and the touch and everything, all of these things can be analyzed inside the forebrain. Okay. Hmm?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, in the brain only, what happens is that this, like when the informations reach the brain, okay, right now I'm not writing anything, I'm just explaining first. So when the information they reach the brain, what happens is that it processes it and then it sends back to the motor neuron, and then the motor neuron produces the kind of response. Okay, now do you people know what is the major part of this forebrain? The major
Uh,
part of forebrain?
Cerebrum.
Cerebrum, right? It is the major part of the forebrain. Okay. Now, excuse me. Hmm. Okay. So talking about the forebrain, so the major now forebrain is subdivided, or you can say parts of the forebrain are, the first one you have cerebrum. So now let us talk about cerebrum only firstly. Now see, cerebrum, it is responsible for reasoning, logic, emotion, speech, memory, all of this. Okay. So all of these functions that I just told you about. So it is responsible for sensing all of it. Okay. So we can say that it is responsible for reasoning, all of like how you people solve the questions or you people answer when I ask you a question. It is because of your very well developed cerebrum. I think all of your cerebrums are exactly perfectly developed because you people almost answer almost all my questions, isn't it? So you
Yes,
can just
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
say,
Thank you.
oh, our cerebrums are so well developed.
Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome. So all of these functions that we see over here, the logic, emotion, speech, memory, visual, okay, all sorts of processing that you do. Okay, when you see something and you know what that thing is. And sometimes, like for example, for colors, have you seen that, sometimes you see a color that is not actually a primary color, it is a different, a unique type of color. You look at it and you try to recall which color does it resemble to, like it is close to which color. You say that it comes in the red family, it comes in the purple family, isn't it? Like for myself, like whenever I see the color magenta, okay, it, like I sometimes get so confused, like whether to put it into purple, whether to put it into pink. This processing that I'm doing is because of the cerebrum. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Hmm. So now apart from processing, there is recognition of all the auditory and taste stimuli. Like I am speaking now, since we have been, like I have been teaching you for a while. Now you people know how my voice sounds like, isn't it? So now if, for example,
Yes,
if
ma'am.
I, wherever you live, okay, and I come behind you and I call out your name, so you know that I am the one who's calling out your name, isn't it? Of course, you will be creeped out that how did she
Yes,
reach
ma'am.
her? But then again, you'll think that it is Mariam Mam's voice, isn't it? So that
Yes.
recognition is again because of the cerebrum. So this much is clear to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Very good. Now, do you people remember, are there
Can
any
we
other?
note down now?
Hmm? Yeah, just let me finish cerebrum and then you can note down, okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. Now see, the other parts that come under the forebrain are thalamus and hypothalamus is there. Now talking about the thalamus, it is sort of like the portion of the forebrain that relays pain and pressure impulses. Okay, it is the portion of the forebrain that relays pain and pressure impulses. Now talking about the last part of the forebrain is the hypothalamus. Now talking about the hypothalamus. Now have you studied about hypothalamus anywhere else? Hmm? Tell me, have you studied about hypothalamus anywhere else? No.
No, ma'am.
Kind of, ma'am, little bit our like
Yes,
school
ma'am.
teacher
But
has
I don't
told us
remember.
about.
See, do you remember
Same, ma'am.
pituitary?
Pituitary gland?
Hi, do you remember pituitary
What,
gland?
ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Hmm.
ma'am.
You know, a very famous thing is that pituitary gland is like very commonly known as the master gland. Okay,
Yes,
because
ma'am. Told
all
that.
the hormones
Master.
controlling. Yeah, and this hypothalamus is very commonly known as the master of the master gland because it controls the pituitary gland. Okay, now can you check
Okay.
in your NCRT book, like hypothalamus, is it given as a part of midbrain or is it given as a part of forebrain? Can you check in your book,
Ma'am,
please?
midbrain.
It's given as a part of midbrain.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Ma'am, in forebrain, it's only cerebrum.
only cerebrum.
Yeah.
Okay, then wait. So this is the cerebrum part. Okay, and this thalamus is given in midbrain or not?
No, ma'am.
No, it's not that. It's not there in the syllabus only.
Yeah.
Oh, then why am I teaching you extra?
Don't erase, ma'am. We'll write it.
कोई बात नहीं. So okay, it's not there in the syllabus. Then अभी पढ़ करके कोई use नहीं है आपका. 11th में तो आप पढ़ोगे ही ना. Right.
11
What
से
are
आप
you thinking? Like how many of you are
पढ़ोगे तो
going
आप
to?
बायो लोगे.
Hmm? What happened? What were you saying? Say it again. I didn't hear.
मैम उसने बोला अगर बायो लेंगे तो पढ़ेंगे.
हाँ, this is what I was asking. How many of you are going to take biology in class 11?
Ma'am, I'm going to take.
And what
Like,
about you?
not sure, but like
Nice,
90%
nice.
chances are there.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And what about others?
I'm gonna take
No.
commerce or humanities.
Commerce or humanities? Okay.
मैम सारे कॉमर्स लेंगे.
Abdullah, what about you?
कॉमर्स
कॉमर्स या
Commerce?
मैम साइंस. मैम या तो कॉमर्स या तो नहीं. लिसन, मोस्ट प्रोबेबली पीसीएम
PC?
सीएस और पीसीएम पी. लेकिन बायो तो नहीं लूंगा मैं पीसी के साथ, क्योंकि बायो इज लाइक वेरी हार्ड,
Bio is
वेरी लेंदी एंड ऑल.
11.
और ये दो सब्जेक्ट साइंस में, और एल्स आई टेक कॉमर्स.
You take commerce. Okay, nice. And what about Kiran? What are you going to take? Kiran? Alright, it's great. So you people are just bearing biology. Like, jaldi khatam ho, jaldi khatam. Alright, now you people can note it down. And tell me
Bio is easy, but there are a lot of new topics every time.
It's not like that, but kind of.
No, yeah, see, bio is
Yes.
easy.
Ma'am, bio is
Yes.
interesting.
See, actually, like no subject is easy if you look at it in one way. It's like if you are interested in that, then it will you'll find it easy. Like, is there anyone who is psycho enough to like maths?
No, no, no.
Who is the psycho in
What
the
मैम मैंने मैथ को बाय बोलना है 10th के बाद. मुझे नहीं लेनी है मैथ. बहुत बेकार है.
same thing? Even I was like, what were you saying? Kiran, were you saying something?
No, I just said that maths is pretty good. It's not that boring.
According to you, math is pretty good. Well, that's
Yeah.
nice. See, that's nice. That's really nice. Even my brother, he's so good at maths, but oh, I hated math. Like when I was in class 10th, I was like, I can't wait
कब
for
जाएगी
maths
मैम.
to
मैम
be
लाइक
out.
जाएगी मैथ्स कब चेंज करेगी.
Alright, it's so great to see you people going into different streams. That's so nice. Alright, now note it down. Tell me when you're done. So I'll like scroll it for you.
Okay.
Hello?
Yes?
Is my voice audible?
Yes, yes, you are audible.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, can you show what is written before this? Like, इसके ऊपर क्या था? अच्छा, neurotransmitters. Okay, okay, ma'am. Thank you. You can go down to the accents.
मैम
Yes.
मैम वैसे चैप्टर कब फिनिश होगा?
But I think in the next class it will be over, hopefully.
Oh,
In the next class it will be over because I think the rest of the parts of the brain will be done today, and then we have tissue action, like the nervous tissue action, and yeah, it will be over in the next class.
okay. Ma'am, could you scroll down?
Ma'am, questions तो पूछेंगे आप.
Once the chapter is over, उसके बाद फिर it'll be revision. So I'll ask all of you, like one day it will be one chapter, next day it will be
मैम
next.
अभी आप चैप्टर कंप्लीट करा दो, हम नोट्स बाद में लिख लेंगे, आप पीडीएफ भेज देना,
No,
तो
no, no.
आप नेक्स्ट क्लास में क्वेश्चन पूछ लेना,
मैं
सिंपल।
questions तो मैं आपसे पूछूंगी, don't worry about that. But right now आप
मैम
ऐसे
बहुत दिन हो चुके हैं मैम, आप बहुत दिन
don't
से पूछ रहे
worry. I am preparing such a tough Viva round for all of you people. So you should
अरे
just
बाप रे.
buckle up, okay? And अच्छे से you should like prepare all of the topics and then we'll discuss it. Don't worry, I'll not leave it. Don't worry.
इतना टफ भी नहीं पूछेगा मैम.
Don't worry. I'm saying you people will enjoy it a lot. Like all of you people are so eager to answer, so eager to learn. So it makes me happy. So
मैम,
we'll
bio is easy but it is very lengthy. Like, फिर मन
yeah.
नहीं करता पढ़ने का, इतना ज्यादा नंबर होता है.
It's quite lengthy, but abhi like 10th mein to it's nothing. Once you go to higher classes, it becomes really lengthy. But it's like interesting, so it's fine. Okay. Are you people
मैम,
done
कैन यू
noting it?
स्क्रॉल डाउन?
Done noting it up till now? Everyone?
यस
Ma'am, not for. I'm doing the like last one. This is the place. Ma'am. Hello. Yeah.
Yes.
No.
मैम थोड़ा ऊपर।
Ma'am, ऊपर. बस. Enough. And no. It's okay. By one. Um. Okay. Ma'am.
Yes.
Can you just show one line above of often endings of one neuron and the dendrites?
मैम आप थोड़ा स्क्रॉल कर दीजिए.
बस बस. This is the place. I'm doing that only now. एक लाइन ऊपर मैम है भी लिखने के लिए बहुत नीचे.
Write it quickly.
Ma'am, could you scroll a bit? Ma'am, what is relay neuron?
What?
What is relay neuron?
Relay neuron. See, relay neuron is like another name for motor neuron. Like sort of like, see, what happens is that when those, see, relay is not actually the name for motor neuron, it is actually the name for association neuron. It is sort of like the relay, like how relay races were there. When you take something from someone, you give it to someone and they pass
Yes,
it to
ma'am. It
someone.
still happens
Yes.
in sports.
So this is also known as relay neuron.
Like sensory to like spinal cord to relay,
No,
and
no,
then
sensory to motor. Like it is connecting, it is a link between sensory and motor neuron, both of these.
okay, ma'am.
Okay, so just imagine like sensory is passing the passer to motor, and motor is passing the information to whatever organ or effector is there.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, please scroll down.
Ma'am, enough.
Write it a little quickly, Abdullah. Where are
अरे
you?
मैम उसके
किस line
उसके
पे?
हाथ है या फरारी उसके हाथ, मुझे ये नहीं समझ रहा था.
Where are
अगर
you?
तुम धीरे लिख लियो तो मैं क्या करूं?
No, you write real fast, okay? या तो तुम गंदा लिखती हो या तो I don't know,
Please
you
don't
have
talk
practice
among
or problem.
yourself, please. बात नहीं करो. बताओ कहाँ पे
तुम्हें
हो?
जल्दी लिखना चाहिए. Then, ma'am.
Done? Everyone's done?
Ma'am, wait, ma'am. I'm just doing the last one. Relay neuron.
Done? Shall I scroll now? I'm
Yes,
scrolling
ma'am.
now.
Ma'am, please scroll down.
Ma'am, wait, please. Just 1
Okay,
minute.
waiting. I'm waiting.
Ma'am, you can scroll to the gustatory receptors.
Ma'am, please scroll.
Ma'am,
I'll just
only
wait
till the
till
central
everyone
nervous.
note it down, then I'll scroll. Okay, I can't just scroll for one person, right?
Ma'am, you
Let's
can scroll
Ma'am,
till the central
everyone
nervous.
did except Abdullah.
I said scroll till the central nervous system. Ma'am, you can scroll the brain and the spinal cord. Ma'am,
Yes.
ma'am, can you read what you wrote below meninges?
Dura mater. Duramater. Arachnoid.
Dural.
Arachnoid.
Ma'am,
Tia
actually,
matter.
these three is not a syllabus.
These three
Yeah, these
are
subparts.
not there in the syllabus.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay, it's all right. You can't, like, if you want to, you can learn. If you don't want to, you can skip it. It's fine.
I wrote.
Like, you can write, but learning is up to you.
Okay, ma'am. Please scroll down.
Ma'am, can you show what is above it? I didn't see. Okay. Yeah, still space, ma'am. Yeah.
Done, ma'am.
Ma'am, you scroll to CSF is responsible. Ma'am,
Yes,
ma'am, you wrote CSF is responsible for the protection of the brain and spinal cord from, it should be from a shock or injury, right?
from the shock or injury.
Okay. Ma'am, can you scroll down?
Ma'am,
Yes,
ma'am, how cerebrum is responsible for the taste?
for the taste, because
Yeah.
the you can say the sensory area for it. Okay, like the stimulus, once you taste it, that information is first sent to the brain. Then only you can recognize the taste, whether it is salty, whether it is sour. So that is how it is responsible. Because the ultimately the information being sent back is by the cerebrum. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Hmm. So,
Done, ma'am.
all right. What about the others?
Yes, ma'am, you can scroll.
There's nothing to scroll. The time for the class is over, and so is the topic. Now, see, in the next class, we'll start from here and hopefully end the topic. And I'll see if the thing will be like that. Ki I'll complete the chapter. Then I'll ask you people to screenshot the notes. Okay. If I
मैम
see
मैंने
fit,
तो आपसे पहले ही बोला था.
if I see
Ma'am,
fit, I'll
पहले ही
do
बोला.
what I feel which is right for you people, right? I will not listen to you. I am the teacher here, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
So
Authority.
I am supposed to tell you what to do, and you're supposed to do what I tell you to do. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Hmm.
Really?
Hmm.
Nothing, nothing.
So जैसे थोड़ा सा you shouldn't be so over smart with your teacher.
Ma'am, what's the temperature?
Google it, you'll find it.
In Delhi, ma'am.
I don't know, you can Google it. All right, so that is it for today's class, okay? And now the homework will be sent to you. Also, you people should start like learning all the chapters one by one. And once this particular chapter is over, I'll start with life processing. Okay? So
Revision?
yeah,
Okay, ma'am.
yeah. So I'll be asking you people questions. Be ready for all sorts of questions. And I don't want any wrong answers in that particular class. Okay? This is to all the students over here. Okay?
Ma'am, can we first do the revision of control and coordination?
Again, as I said, who's the teacher?
You.
Then
You,
if I'm saying that I'm going to start it from the beginning, then I'll start it from the beginning.
ma'am,
See,
what
I
chapter are you going to do?
Ma'am.
life processes. See, I am
Light.
lenient with all of you people. It does not mean that you will start behaving like this. I do not like this, okay? I am lenient, I'm friendly. So you should respect that and be, in that limit only. When it exceeds, then I start getting irritated, okay? इसलिए थोड़ा सा लिमिट, okay? So, all of you prepare the first chapter, okay, for the next class. Hopefully, we'll complete this particular chapter, that is control and coordination, and then I'll start like revising that particular chapter. Also, when you read your NCRT books, refer to my notes also, like the notes that you have taken down. Also, the NCRT book, and wherever you find any doubt in any line, you mark it. Okay, you mark it, note it in a separate page or whatever, and then you can come with that doubt to me. It can be any silly doubt also, it can be a tough doubt also. According to you, whatever you think is where you getting stuck or some concept is still not clear, so you can come with that concept to me. Okay?
Okay, ma'am.
All right.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, then I'll meet you in the next class.